more that they took away content more than adding content to. You get that feeling if you're someone who's played the original Resident Evil 4. The AI to Ashley is, in my opinion, worse here. I think people are having almost a Mandela-ish effect or something with Ashley's original AI, where she was actually programmed really well in the original. A lot of things were programmed in a very intelligent way in the original Resident Evil 4. And I originally did not like Resident Evil 4 when I played it back in the day, but I grew to love it and understand its purpose and design philosophy over time, and it was really good for the time. It was excellent, and I see why people love it so much. It's still not my personal favorite game of all time, but I can see why people love it so much. And because of these flaws with the characters being underwhelming, like the villains, then there being like them not even bringing back some cool lines. They give Ada and her DLC the laser segment instead of Leon, as if to say she's cooler than Leon. It feels very stupid why they couldn't just give that to Leon in the first place. It's such a short part. And it feels kind of baffling to me why they gave it to Ada and not him, where Ada is actually boring because of her voice actress just not trying hard enough. But once again, I don't know if I should blame the voice actress herself. There might be something else wrong there, like a directing aspect. Maybe she didn't give a crap or something. I can see you, bruh. But yeah, like I just don't understand with all the problems that it has. It's freaking ridiculous. It's a great game. It's a great game, and I think they do a great job with the side characters that help you out. Ashley and such. I think the voice actress is better. I think people are remembering more Ashley was an annoying voice actress and character in the original, as well as just their perception of escort missions in gaming was why they hate it in general, probably too. That contributes as well. Like they have almost a PTSD moment with it for some reason. And it's just something they all take into consideration, thinking, when in reality, that's not how it actually is. And there's so many reasons why it's not as bad. I actually think it is way worse in Resident Evil 4 Remake because she genuinely gets in your way. She's not programmed quite as smartly as the original. And finally, also, I gotta add the flashlight thing. Why can't you control the flashlight? Why isn't the player in control of the flashlight like they are in Dead Space Remake? But Leon only has control on when you use a flashlight, and I think they even kind of do this, unless it's because most of the area is dark, but they kind of do this with Ashley's gameplay segment, which kind of makes it look even dumber. But yeah, it's just baffling to me that these design decisions, I'm gonna have a tongue twister when saying that, that they've made. It's still a fantastic game, and they both very much even each other out. I think Dead Space is more genuinely scary. They actually did a great job with the AI. While I don't like the animations of the necromorphs, they do gang up on you. They still sneak up on you too. Their AI is actually programmed pretty well, and they genuinely scared me and threw me off multiple times. I'm surprised by that. And while the AI is not bad in this game, I just don't feel like everything entirely complements one another like it used to the same extent of brilliant game design. And it just kind of feels like these games kind of feel like every other third-person shooter. Like, I took a picture from Last of Us Part 1, Uncharted 4, and Resident Evil 4 Remake, and Dead Space, as well as, there was another game I also took a picture from, probably something like Gears of War 5 or something, and I put them next to each other, and I said, can you see what's the difference between these, other than their art style and characters? They all are using, like, it's become known that they're using the same gameplay formula. That's why I think Elder Scrolls game, Bethesda RPGs, and even the older Resident Evil and Silent Hill games with their camera angles, same with Metal Gear Solid, are unique and actually stand out more nowadays. We don't get many games like that anymore, and there's not many games that can replicate what those games did for the time. So I gotta give props to those games for what they did, and that they stand out so uniquely amongst so many other games. Let's see if I can sneak past here. There's a chicken egg. Let's get this lady. Ah, damn it. Here's my knife. Well, frick. Let's see what else I have. Color 7 doesn't have any ammo. My pistol, I think, has plenty of ammo. This doesn't have much. I do have plenty for my SMG, and apparently none for this. I gotta repair my knife now. I have a tiny knife, but I don't know how well that's gonna do me. Wait, what is this for? Hold on. Yeah, put it on the assault rifle. Why not? Wait, what was it on before? Hold on. So put it on that assault rifle. What is the LE5? Is that this? Oh, it was on that. Yeah, put it back on there. I use that gun more. Oh, maybe not. Hold on a second. I think that's used for the regenerators later. Speaking of which, I didn't find myself scared by Resident Evil 4, really. It tried at times, but it just didn't do it for me. Where Dead Space Remake genuinely did scare me at times. What's that? They don't know where I am. Yeah, and I think while there are problems with the Dead Space remake, like Hammond and Kendra being more clueless, and like Hammond having this sacrifice that in character development with his friend being turned into a necromorph, and it was just kind of odd. I like the original character development. It wasn't as obvious, and spoiler, of course, Kendra is the traitor. So they try to throw you off multiple times, and it feels really forced and in your face. I think Chalice Marissa's done great. Dr. Kyne isn't as natural or passionate or as crazy as his original counterpart. His original actor was so good. That's the same actor that played Harbinger in Mass Effect. And he does such a better job at that character than the new guy. But I do think the characters overall, as well as bringing back Isaac's voice actor, is really great. And the other characters in Resident Evil 4 do a great job, but because of terrible egregious microtransactions, because of some of the stuff they took out that's more noticeable, where Dead Space Remake actually feels like they put things in, that there's certain mechanics that don't complement one another in Resident Evil 4 that actually kind of suck, honestly. Even like the staggering effects in this game kind of suck. I might have to go out there and just straight up shoot everybody, because once I break these boxes, they're gonna hear me. They're gonna know where I am and know to come after me. Yeah, this is gonna suck. You can't really stagger enemies too with headshots and the harder difficulties, which makes not only the kicking animations that you can do kind of feel pointless, or like, why are they even there? If in most harder difficulties you're gonna do, you can't really do it, or it's rare to do at all. It's just a shame. And while Resident Evil 4 gets to be at the Game Awards and be like one of the nominees for the Game of the Year, I don't agree, as well as I think remakes in general should be disqualified from that, just because you know what to expect from them for the most part. They're still sharing a very similar same story. There's not much they can change or are going to change. That's kind of like if you made a Disney remake, have an award equivalent like that. It's just like, no, I don't think so. Unless you truly, really change things up, then no. I don't think any remake deserves to be there. But if one did have to be, I would have preferred the Dead Space remake. Also, why isn't Armored Core at the Game Awards for Game of the Year? That is a great action game. I think that should have been there. And honestly, I do think Starfield should have been up there. It just kind of looks silly, some of the games they chose. Like Alan Wake 2's got plot problems. It's got a great narrative, but a confusing plot if you just miss one or two cutscenes because it's trying to connect the other Remedy games. So it just kind of feels all over the place. It looks next gen at times, but there's other times where the level design is really poor, as well as the game is just uh, looks like a PS3 game at times with its scenery. I think even G-Man Lives talked about this stuff, um, similar stuff as well. So I don't know if I agree with Alan Wake 2. And for all the crazy visual moments that it has, it's not nearly as much of those as what you're playing throughout most of the game. There's a bunch of problems I could mention with Alan Wake 2. Also, realize that I think that the new character they introduced, while she's being written the way she is by Alan, just because a character is written within the plot of that and the context of it, I understand. That doesn't make it any less stupid. It kind of feels like you're trying to have just a barricade way of or whatever of saying, hey, it can't be bad if it's meant to be this way through the plot. No, it can still be bad. And I think the way she's uh, written inception wise by both the writer and the writer within the game, she feels very Mary Sue-ish, and it's just not as interesting how they write her with the solving mysteries and stuff. You don't even get to do most of those solving mystery parts too, so it's just kind of lame. And you have to just watch it. There's really long ass cutscenes. Almost has that problem at times that Quantum Break originally had, where the cutscenes are boring. Um, at least it's not as bad as that game, that's for sure. And I don't think it's an awful game by any means. Also, enemies have their back face to you a lot of the time in that game, which is kind of stupid and makes a lot of the combat encounters samey and generic. Um, yeah, it just doesn't add enough to make it interesting. But yeah, that's all I have to say. I think that the Dead Space remake is honestly better than the Resident Evil 4 because not only does it add more content with like to even borrowing from Dead Space 2 elements, but the stuff that they either the way they wrote other things as well as the stuff they added to the game, such as microtransactions and stuff for a payable game, that's like $60 to $70 originally, is kind of a bad thing for Resident Evil 4, where Dead Space only has one DLC, and this is made by EA, making it all the more ironic and just funny that like it doesn't have the same amount of microtransactions and stuff. It actually feels like a genuine, really good game. Technically, you could even say it has more skins. I'm not going to count hats and sunglasses as skins. Those are very minor, and even if they have effects, like I would prefer to have the entirety of Hunk's outfit rather than just Hunk's helmet. And I know he's in the multiplayer, the not multiplayer, mercenaries, but still in the main game, I would have rather dressed entirely like Hunk than what we got. So yeah, that kind of sucks, honestly, in my opinion. And yeah, I hope they do better with the next remake or whatever, because this one, I have a feeling they're going to screw over the Resident Evil 5 remake, and there's so much I got to say about that, because I actually think that game needs to be over the top, otherwise they're going to make characters like Albert Wesker really boring and generic, so we'll have to see. And I don't know what they're going to do to Code Veronica and such, so we'll have to see about that stuff. But anyways, that's all I have to say for now. Um, there's more I could go into, but the videos don't give me enough talking space and such when I'm recording them like this, so, and I need to change that. So I'll see you next time. Bye.